All right, good afternoon, guys. Thank you for being here today. Here we are, day 8. I'm happy to announce that we have lifted the boil water advisory. The water is safe to drink. So that is a huge accomplishment. I want to give a kudos out to our utilities department folks who have worked around the clock to make that happen. I'm going to repeat that. The boil water advisory has been lifted, and the water is safe to drink. We started off this morning with a visit from Lieutenant Governor Burt Jones, who came in to get an update at our Emergency Operations Center. He and the entire Augusta legislative delegation, as you know, they'll be critical in helping Augusta get back to some sense of normalcy, making sure that we had a proper funding both at the state and federal level. And they have been very, very instrumental in us being able to access resources, so we couldn't thank them enough. Today we begin the process of what I mentioned yesterday, and that's taking the resources to the community. You know, in the past we've been using these pods, these points of distribution out at Southgate Plaza, Diamond Lakes, and down at the depot facility. And there are so many neighborhoods that were essentially cut off and that they don't always have access to transportation. So we are taking the resources to the community by a couple of ways. We have a mutual aid agreement, as you know, we signed with DeKalb County. Their CEO, Michael Thurman. Today they delivered 10 truckloads of produce. They left DeKalb County about 3:30 or 4 o'clock this morning. We started those community resources at 8 o'clock at the Greater Young Zion Baptist Church. My heart was warming that the line extended all the way across the Beach Island Bridge at some point. At 10 o'clock we were at Good Samaritan Baptist Church. At noon, we're at Good Shepherd Baptist Church, my home. The distribution there was going well. At 2 o'clock, we're going to be at Broadway off of Barton Chapel, and at 4 at Faith Outreach. And these resources include fresh boxes of produce, as well as a generous donation from FPL Foods of more than 80,000 pounds of fresh ground beef patty. So it's been phenomenal. I'm going to turn it over to Chief in just a second, but I want to continue to reiterate that a curfew remains in place, even though we're regaining power throughout our city. Every day we're making continuous improvement in restoring our traffic signals, but it still remains a dark, unsafe city in certain parts, so the 10 o'clock curfew will remain in place. And I'm going to continue to emphasize for our residents to be patient. Things are getting better. To be courteous. We realize that as things get better, there are more people out in lines. There's more people trying to access resources, and I understand that if you haven't had power or water for 8 days, it's certainly a testing time. So continue to be courteous, be patient. We're going into the weekend. Things are getting better. And we couldn't be more excited about all the help that we've received from our partners at the National Guard, the American Red Cross, United Way, the CSRA, the many agencies that have poured into our city to help us. Georgia Power Company, who's helping us restore power. So thank them. And lastly, I want to thank the employees of Augusta Richmond County, because they have really stepped up big. We've had 8 straight days and nights of working. Some of us a lot long hours. I repeat that every single day. But we're getting better, and I appreciate and I thank them for their dedication. So now I'm going to turn it over to Chief Burton. He's going to give you an update on some of his responsibilities. Thank you, Chief. We'll take questions at the end.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, everyone. Just have a few points that I want to ensure that you receive. The roads are being cleared. For the most part, they are clear with the exception of those that involve power lines. So all the major thoroughfares are clear. Most of the side roads are clear. With the exception of those that involve power lines. I want to also report that Georgia Power has continued to make progress. We're seeing progress by the hour. I'm pleased to report that they have indicated that they are at 72% restoration at this point. Our points of distribution continue to remain open 9 a.m. to 6:30. Providing ice, water, tarps, and MREs for those in our community. Volunteer support. Golden Harvest Bank is seeking volunteers. For those that are interested in helping out our efforts, please reach out to them if you're able to assist. Our shelters continue to remain open. May Park and Henry Brigham Center continue to remain open. We will be closing the Bell Auditorium this evening. And I want to end on a note as we continue to stress the importance of safety around your homes. Unfortunately, this morning, we had a tragic loss of life in a house fire this morning. So please remain diligent as we practice safe habits. Ensure that your stoves, if you don't have power, in the off position as power being restored. We ask that you take care as it relates to extension cords. If you have those, remove them. They can become a fire hazard. So we ask that you continue to support one another as we continue to recover from this hurricane.
All right, guys, we told you it was going to be brief. Now we're going to take a few questions. We're going to try to get back to work. We've got a busy day. You want the chief?
For Mr. Castle, Steve, a lot of folks this weekend are going to be spending time getting their limbs and leaves up. You're in charge, I guess, of the debris pickup. This company's going to be hitting. Can you give any updates on what people need to do, where these trucks going to be, how long? Just enough, because come Monday, I guess, we're going to have the surveys, I guess, the name of the company?
Ceres, C-E-R-E-S, and there's a monitoring firm too, GMC. Please tell me that if you're going to print it, let them know there's a monitor and a debris removal. Yeah, George, they're going to be starting today. Actually, you'll see some trucks over here, and what you'll see over there at the 401, the former jail site, is they'll be certifying trucks. They're measuring them to get the volume so they can start getting out and hauling. The monitoring firm will assign a monitor, so we monitor every stick from the point we pick it up all the way to the landfill. We're setting up several monitoring or management sites for them so that we short haul. The shorter the haul, the quicker they can pick it up. So we're trying to, instead of having 2 like we had last time, I'm going to try to have 4 or 5 so they're all efficiently. That's not for citizens to pick up or drop off. That's for them to manage it. But yes, start bringing your debris to the curb, or not the curb, but basically on the back of the curb. And understand how they're going to do this. They're going to come through. If your debris is not fully on the right of way, like a tree that fell across, they're just going to cut it at the right of way line, but you got to bring the rest of it forward. If there's a tree that fell that's uprooted, they're going to cut the tree. They're going to leave the stump. The stump, they will come back and get it. So if you're going to call and say, hey, they left the stump, it's coming back, and that'll be the last thing they do at the end. The initial aspect is to remove the hazard. And then they'll start picking up the heavy areas quick. And then as soon as they come through, start putting your debris back on the street for the second pass or whatever. So big thing I would say is be patient, because as they come, they will come back, and we will not leave until every road is certified as clean. But once they're certified clean, we're not coming back. So anyway, that's my biggest thing is be patient. Like, don't feel like you had to rush out there and pile stuff up and have it fall on you.
And they won't come on, if we don't pick it up where the tree fell, you've got to bring it up to the curb.
If it fell into the right-of-way, we'll cut it at the right-of-way line.
It's in my backyard.
If it's in your backyard, yes. But there's volunteer organizations all around. I would try to check back with the chief. I'm not sure who the volunteer coordinator is. There's several groups that have come to town. Chief mentioned one yesterday, and I know there's a Baptist organization that's doing the same thing. That'll help people clean their yards, and it's. I would suggest that if you got access to it, I would call the number before I would hire somebody to do mine, to be honest with you.
You got an estimate on the final tally, how much this is going to cost?
Not an estimate. I mean, it'll be in excess of the ice storm, I figure, because the ice storm is mostly debris. We got infrastructure issues out too. The other thing is the engineering department will be out starting tomorrow, is assessing what drains were damaged, light poles, all of our city's normal infrastructure that got damaged during the thing, and then that'll also be part of our overall damage assessment. And then once we get to the point where the debris is managed, then we'll talk about what other wastes, like construction debris, and how to handle that as well. But for right now, we're just focusing on debris in the street. Don't put any construction debris out on the street right now, and don't mix it with your debris. That will take time. We have to separate it. So.
Quick question there.
Yes, sir.
We're hearing a lot from people whose phones aren't working, whose internet isn't working, and all that. Are you working with the various service providers? Are they coming to the city to work together to get this done more quickly, or what's going on with that?
Yeah, they are. So one of our partners who was generous to donate $100,000 was Comcast. They traditionally have been here, probably working out in the field. They have hundreds of technicians that are dispatched throughout our city, throughout our county to restore internet, and I think they also have phone service. AT&T, many of our cellular carriers also have resources in the area. They're deploying hotspots. As you know, without a phone and so many people utilizing their phones, signal has been spotty. So I think there's been some improvement over the last few days. I notice I don't have as many dropped calls, and I'm getting better reception. So there is, all the carriers are working in place to make sure that we have adequate communication. Yes, ma'am.
You mentioned today that today is the starting date of bringing these resources to the community. Do y'all have any more plans in place to do distributions like the one that we're seeing today, the donation from DeKalb County? Can people donate to y'all to get these resources out to the community, or how does that work?
Probably not at the level that we distributed 10 truckloads of produce, but you will see an additional effort to get more bottled water out to the community. We have a fairly healthy supply of things like formula and diapers, so that's probably going to be the next push you see. That's right now being organized so that we could push it out to the communities that desperately need it. George, I know you mentioned a question about those who perhaps don't have the money to pay to have trees removed from their yard. We have several companies that we're organizing that's going to offer some of those services for free. So you will hear more communications about that in the days to come. All right? Any other questions?
311, trees that are down, people should call 311 to report them, right?
311 to reporting, especially if it's blocking your path out. Hopefully at this point we've gotten everyone that's out of their homes. So if a tree is in the path of blocking your ability to leave your home, don't hesitate to call 311. Just keep in mind, sometimes if it's entangled in power lines, it creates a problem in that the debris removal, the tree crews do not touch power lines. So it may take a little while to get the right team out there, but we're certainly getting better at that just about every day. That it, guys? Thank you. I'll continue to stay safe. Have a great weekend. And it's getting better. I promise you. Thank you.